Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another PPG Halloween deck profile. This time, I'm here with Michael, who topped with Blue Baby. Really cool here because we haven't seen Blue Baby do much in set 11. I definitely think that has a lot to do with Revenge Big Bang Attack being a very hard to get promo. But anyways, Mike, how's it going, man?
Good. A lot of people don't have the promo, so I think that's why it's not doing too well when people play it. Because with the promo, you have AD Magic, so
yeah, and one of them draws a card, which is kind of insane. And I guess I'll ask you right off the bat. So, do you think this deck would be a lot more dominant if people had easy access to the promo?
Yeah, I think it's the best blue deck because the AD match is what makes blue good, right? The untapping.
Yeah, definitely one of the cards. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you have that, you have all the blue tools, but you can search all the counters. So I don't understand how it wouldn't be the best blue deck.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely think that, the promos for this deck and the promos for Red Broly definitely play a factor in their overall representation in the meta, which definitely very interesting because who knows, maybe one of those two decks would be, overrunning the meta if it weren't for that. Now let me ask you this right out of the way, since you're one of the only players in the meta who has a good experience with Baby at the moment. What do you think about the new cards coming out Draft Box 6, the Mai's and the Borgoses and all those things that, they seem to target Baby very hard? How do you think that'll play a role in Baby's performance?
I think that if you play any super combo besides Zeno, it hurts the deck a lot. But if you play Zeno, I don't think it hurts the deck that much.
Really? All right.
Because having 16 untaps in your deck, you cut off 8 of them, but one of them still draws me cards. So you really just make D Magic because Revenge Big Baby's still good. So, I still have 8 untaps.
Interesting. No, that's a good point. And actually, I did see the Zeno in your list. We'll talk about it as we get there, though, and we'll get more into it. So, 4 Baby Unison. I guess we're going to get to it right now. So, 4 Baby Unison, 4 God Stealing Technique Trunks, and then the 4 Zeno Edge of Space. So, this is actually a card I've never seen in a Baby list before. Usually, you see Zamasu Super Combo because that card just kind of makes sense with what you want to do in a control deck, right? Tapping multiple attackers. So, why did you go with Zeno Edge of Space?
Because I like to tap out on turn 3 for Deadly Defender Vegeta. And so you tap out Deadly Defender Vegeta, they attack it, normally with a 15k, maybe a 20k if they have like a War Cry, if they're playing a yellow deck or something like that, or a Topo that they use, like just some 20k. They don't combo, so you go to 25 and have an energy untap, and then all your untap negates are online. So now it's protected, and they just can't get through it. And then also, I like when I play against hand control, I can put the cards I want to keep in my energy, combo Zeno, and get them back when I need them.
That's very cool, actually. That's some very next level DBS, I would say. I've actually never really heard many people say that strategy before, so that's definitely really cool. What's funny about this deck profile actually is it's just leading me question after question after question. So the next question, I think we'll get to it, I guess, when we get to the Deadly Defender. But anyways, this is the negate lineup. I do want to ask you about Bola though, because we on the team tested Blue Baby quite a bit. And obviously, when we're playing online, you don't have to worry about not having Revenge Big Bang Attack. But we really like Mechiorp in the deck. I know Bola is a servant, which might be one of the main reasons why you decided to play it. But was there any other reason besides just her being a servant?
No, I just play her because she's a servant.
Right.
Mechiorp, he was real cool. I actually like playing him. But Gohan being the only servant wasn't good enough against Green because they would just pop it with Frieza, and I wouldn't be able to overlord it often enough. So I was like, I gotta have another servant in the deck for Overlord.
Gotcha. So you want to basically just be able to cycle cards out as quickly as you can. And then the nice thing is you actually have ways to get them back from the bottom of the deck, so that actually can work out pretty well. All right, so then for the Floodgates, we have 4 Baby's Minion and 4 Heroic Prospect. I don't really think there's anything too crazy there. Vegeta Ready to Rumble is a card that I actually didn't see a lot of Baby lists playing, but I like that you're playing it. And I can see like the aversion to playing it in Baby because you're not SS3 where you get like a bunch of free energy. But at the same time, in Blue Baby, this is a 3-drop. So to me, it makes perfect sense. Were there games you just won by literally floodgate after floodgate after floodgate after floodgate, I imagine?
That is actually how I just win all the games. That's my game plan. I normally play Gohan, and then they're like, okay, I'm done attacking. Yeah, I play Vegeta, and they stop attacking. And then Gohan, I rotate them. I never play them back to back, even if I have 2 Vegetas, because if I want them to remove the blocker, so they can try to get through my Deadly Defender, so that I Gohan. So they have to then deal with 2 attacks just to get to my life, so they stop. And then they normally clear the Vegeta. Then I'll play this Vegeta the next turn. I like to keep 1 blocker on the board, so that way it deters them from wanting to really go any further.
Gotcha, yeah. This is some just from testing against this deck a lot. Like I said, this is some very, very annoying stuff to play through there. And what's funny actually is it almost makes you think that we can see a return of cards like Denial of Hope, Preemptive Strike, stuff like that. Like playing this deck with these kind of floodgates, it seems like there's a lot less interaction with these things than there used to be. So what are the kind of things that make a blue baby player nervous when it seems like you have endless amounts of defense like this?
The card that makes me most nervous when I'm playing is when I play against red is Denial of Hope. It answers every card that I play.
And that's so funny because I don't see any red decks playing it.
Yeah, I say nobody plays it. I'm like, thank God. But I get nervous though. I'm like, man, if they have Denial of Hope, I'm in trouble. And then green, if they side Hidden Power to Sands, you're always nervous about that card.
Right.
But at least I have the option to discard if I want the card to go through.
For sure,
but,
yeah. Maybe that could be a resurgence of Denial of Hope, Preemptive Strike, stuff like that. That'd be really interesting. All right, so we're here at Deadly Defender Vegeta. I saw this card in your list initially. I even commented on your post, and I was like, "What's up with the Deadly Defender Vegeta?" I just want you to take the floor and explain it.
All right, so Deadly Defender Vegeta. I needed a barrier attacker. I had been looking through the database, and I was like, "What has barrier?" And I saw Deadly Defender Vegeta. And I was like, there's no way this card's playable. And I was like, there's no way. And then, so I didn't play it for a little bit when I was first testing the deck. And then I was like getting destroyed by green Go Tanks. I was like, I need something better than Marichium. Marichium is good, but it's not good enough in Baby. It's much better in the other blue decks because they're able to apply a lot more pressure through the other cards. But Baby just doesn't do it like they do. Mm-hmm. So I was like, Deadly Defender is worth the shot. And then I realized that every deck that people are playing in the format has no answers to Deadly Defender. There's just none that people are playing. They exist, but people don't play them.
Right.
So it's protection. I go to 4 life, and I never go under 4. And if I go under 4, that means they had to play the green Go Tanks 5-drop from the set that pops the barrier. But they only play 1 copy of that card most of the time. And I'm not trying to be funny. I feel like most players don't even think when they're activating Goku to search that card. So they end up using their Goku's and grabbing, what's it, Grim Reaper or Harry Ghost Reaper, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Grim Reaper. Yep, Grim Reaper.
They grab him and don't grab that one, and they just don't have any outs.
That's so funny. That's so funny, man. Because I think a lot of cases, like when you look at Deadly Defenders, you generally think like, yeah, it's the same size as my leader, but it's like not that big, and I'm tapped out. But I mean, you fix that problem essentially by playing Xeno Edge Space. So I think it's actually
the floodgates, cool, right? So once it lives 1 turn, the floodgates is protected.
Right.
Who's gonna attack through Gohan to clear a Deadly Defender? Nobody. It's a waste of cards.
That's really interesting, actually. Wow, that's really, really cool. I like this. I like the way you structure this deck a lot. So 4 Bean, of course, and then Baby the Sand Slayer. This is a card that us on the team we really didn't know how we felt about it. It's very costly, even though on your opponent's turn it only costs 3. But getting him onto the field for 3 when he doesn't actually, stop a counter. He's a counter, but he doesn't actually stop a counter. He does negate an attack, but he doesn't floodgate. But he gives you that really big activate main. So overall, how did this card perform for you?
It was terrible in BL1, to be honest with you.
Really? Okay.
It was bad. I wish I would have cut it. I had not played it. It was much better in best of 3 when I play at locals and stuff like that. So that's the only reason I kept it in for the event, because I thought it would be good in best of 1, but it wasn't at all. I never used it over the weekend, so I just energy it. It's terrible against green, terrible against red. It's only playable against blue and yellow. And no, I played 0 yellow decks, so I was like, this is dumb. So I would just charge it.
Very interesting. Yeah, yellow is pretty much nowhere to be found right now. All right, so here's your 4-drop split. We have 2 Obuni, 2 Marichum, and then 2 Ultra Instinct Goku, which in this deck is technically a 3-drop, which actually I think makes it very, very good in this deck. I always want to ask the blue players about the Obuni thing because, Obuni back then was a 4-of mandatory staple, but now we're seeing a lot of players like yourself cut Obuni down to 2, making room for some other cards like Marichum. I actually think the Janemba 4-drop also very, very good in this deck. But how did you come to this 4-of split?
I did not like Obuni against Go Tanks or any green deck. Right. And I was like, I'm not playing this card. I actually had all my Marichiums. I had all 4 Marichiums. And I was going to play them. And I was like, there's no way that I played the blue mirror match and they have a Obuni and I don't. And Baby Hachiat. Because it feels real bad when your opponent plays a Obuni, attacks all their cards, tapped out, and they're like, okay, you go to your turn, you attack, and they're like, Baby Hachiat. So you just got locked out of your turn and they have a Obuni, then they play another one. Now there's 8 Obunis cards on the board. Like, this is terrible.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I gotta play a Booney to counter their Boonies, but I don't want to play 4 Boonies. So I was like, I just split it 2-2. And then the UI Goku was because I needed cards to clear like problematic cards like the Red Broly SCR.
Yep.
I was like, I had to pick this card up because I can live through its attack. Like when Red Broly plays the card, I live through that attack every time when they do it. Through Gohan and Vegeta, they just give up on attacking. So I'm like, okay. And then it gets to my turn, I just do nothing. And then they go to their turn, I Gohan or Vegeta, lock them out, or Baby Hachiyak. Go to my turn, play the Goku, pick up their Broly, and just kill them. Because their life is normally at 3, and they're in range of the Golden Ape.
Yeah, so, you need that sort of barrier removal just to basically get all your attackers back to their normal power. Yeah, I could definitely see what you're going with there.
That's the only reason I played the UI in the deck, to be honest, was just because that card it kind of like ruins the deck if it just stays on board because there's no real response to it outside of the UI.
Right. And then here for basically our big boys, we have 3 Golden Avenger and 1 Baby Hatch. Definitely some very standard stuff here. So overall, Mike, any big changes you make to the deck? I know you mentioned the Sand Slayer wasn't very great, but anything else you would maybe change about the deck?
I'm looking at playing Max Power in the main again. It just helps with Green Go Tank. That was my only loss I had. He played very differently though. I forget his name, but he did something I'd never seen before. He was just spamming the tokens. Mm-hmm. I guess he'd been practicing against Baby or something. He just spammed the tokens every turn until turn 6 and played 3 Reapers and then sell Xeno to me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, that was pretty smart. I was like, it just blew my mind. I was like, because no one ever does that. They normally want to play their Reapers and pop my cards and stuff. I'm like, sure, do what you gotta do. But it doesn't work for him. But he was smart enough to know just keep making the 2 tokens, attack with the tokens. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. And then he was just like, all right, cool. Grim Reaper. And then he attacked. I played the Vegeta, thinking I would stop him because I didn't think he had Cell Zeno at that point. And he just he attacked with them, left 2 energy up, Cell Zeno, that's game. I was like, man, this guy's good at this game.
Yeah, no, sometimes there are some very, very niche things you have to do for very specific matchups, just like that, in order to pretty much win. So, Mike, anyone you want to shout out at the end of this video?
Yeah, I shout out my team, Sean, Trevor, Jimmy because me and Jimmy got a podcast, the Herman Style Podcast. So if you guys can check us out, we post every week. And that's it, really. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. We'll definitely get that podcast down in the description, by the way, too. So go down there and look for that for sure.
Appreciate it, Joey.
Not a problem, man. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
All right.